Good morning, Ron. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm really good. So a new era is beginning.
Yes, definitely.
Wonderful. So we're here at ThinkUp, and I'm interviewing Ron, which up until now, basically, was the chief design officer here at ThinkUp, and this is take two of this interview, which I was kind of debating, would I mention it or not, because we said such amazing things, and I'm going to try and hopefully hone in on the jewels that he shared with me last time. And I would love to start, first of all, by introducing Ron, because I think that everything that he's going to share with us, with his wisdom, will receive better context, knowing what he's gone through. Right? So, first of all, you're a practical visionary, serial entrepreneur, venture builder, father, family man, and very special human being, an innovator. We kind of discussed between us the difference between an entrepreneur and an innovator, which don't necessarily come hand in hand all the time. So we have if we're lucky, then a great company will have both an innovator, an entrepreneur, and a great leader.
Yeah,
That's if we get real lucky.
totally.
And we're going to talk a little bit about your partnership with Hilal Lizarovich, which you've gone through many businesses with, and you're embarking on a new adventure together. And we're going to talk about how you make life better, starting from great parties to great businesses, and just being a really great human being in these times, which are ever-changing and so unpredictable. So good morning.
First of all, thank you for, inviting me and interviewing me. And as you said, this is our second try. Although the first one was great, but we had some technicalities, right?
Technical malfunction. Forgot to turn on the camera. Ugh.
Well, here we are, starting again.
I feel like there's so many things, first of all, that we didn't talk about last time. For example, you were telling me as we finished, as I turned off the record button, you started telling me about your big failure story. And I feel like big successes need to have that amazing failure story. So we're gonna go into that. I'm just mentioning it because I wanted to talk about it today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one of the first things that I want to start with is, what is an entrepreneur? Because I feel like it's a lot of us are we self-define as one, but in later stages in our life. And if there's something I wish I could somehow provide for people, is maybe easier time and sooner time to discover, who they are within this life journey. And an entrepreneur journey is very different from a regular one. And so maybe you can take us from the beginning, how you started, and what was it, like age 13, and take us into your life as one, so that we could all sort of get some inspiration how to live ours better.
All right. So I'll just give, I think, a background that connects really well with the story. And I think it's starting. I was born into a non-conventional family. I think when I was very young, my parents got divorced, not in good terms. And I've kind of, grew up without a father figure, I think. Although, my mom had a boyfriend, and he came to live with us, down the road with his son. So, but the actual father figure was not there for me. Yeah. I think my mom wanted to be or play both.
Yeah, and maybe she didn't really have much of choice.
Yeah, she didn't. But she was a role model for me, for fighting for her kids, for a normal life. Yeah. For, let's call it a better life. And again, going with that better, because it could go, the opposite way as well. And I always looked up to her, because she invested a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of effort for everything to be in the right place, and so we won't miss out anything.
Right. You mentioned that I have her down like here. I circled mom because she's also that person in your life that, first of all, you refer to as a intrapreneur, which is the first time that I actually heard about it, although it makes perfect sense. So if you want to mention what the difference is so that people could kind of understand what they are.
Mm-hmm. So my mom had a career in an organization, but she was an entrepreneur, which we call an intrapreneur, at that organization, and she did a lot of stuff. She invented a lot of activities, and at the end, she really established a whole department at that organization. And she always had that spirit of accomplishing more, doing more, breaking the ceiling, the glass ceiling or whatever. Right. And I learned a lot from her. She was a role model for me, and I think at a certain stage or point at the timeline, I didn't want to rely on her so much. Yeah. Or, having her as an only backup. And I wanted to make life for her a bit easier as well. So it's not just about...
You're like a dream child. Everybody wants their own one. Wow.
No, I don't know.
Most kids today, I don't think they talk like that. But it's a different generation, isn't it?
Yeah, I was spoiled as well. I have to say, we didn't miss anything. Yeah. Really. Like, she'd take us abroad, on cheap hotels and cheap flights, but she'll take us there,
Right. You didn't grow up in scarcity.
Yeah. But I did want it more. Right. I always wanted more. So and more for me is equal to better. Okay.
The more, and you're really going to give reference to this in a moment, because I asked you last time, did you want more because you were lacking, or because you felt you didn't have it, or did you want more from a place of perfecting, of making better? And that really defines you, right? It wasn't that you needed it because you had everything that a 13-year-old, basically needed to be happy, but you were still...
I wanted more.
You wanted more.
I wanted more because I wanted better, okay? And they are equivalent. To me, the more is better. If it's not better, so I don't need more than something that's not making anything better. Okay. Right. So it's more, it's advanced, it's better, it's all around there. Yeah. I didn't miss out anything, but I wanted more. If I could go out twice a week, I want to have that option. Okay. If I want to eat in a fancy restaurant, I want to be able to do it. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it every day or, a lot of times, but I want that option, Yeah.
You had that voice in your head that said more is possible.
Yeah.
So take us, what's the first entrepreneurial step that you take?
So it was around
surprising.
It was around the age of 14. And I remember that on a winter day, I saw the cabs and the taxis around my city, very dirty, looking bad. Yeah. And I kind of felt, what, this is, first, this is not a static, and I'm a designer. First, they really look dirty, and I went into the manager of the taxi station, and I told him, listen, next Friday I can come here with some more kids, and we can clean up for that amount of money, the entire cabs in the station. And he said, he started right away to negotiate. He started right away to negotiate the price, and I knew the limit. I didn't negotiate a lot, but we found the price. I said, "Okay, see you next Friday." And I came next Friday with other kids, and buckets and and everything, and we started to clean it up. And they were so satisfied. They asked us to come again. Yeah, they asked us to come again next Friday, and we did it. And I went to another taxi station in the city, and I offered the services as well. And we started to do it. And that was like, I don't know, between more than 6 months that we did it. And me and the other kids could actually have more, pocket money.
Yeah. So it
And-
started for more pocket money, but it continued with the sort of like that wanting to improve, to manifest and sort of make things bigger and greater,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you didn't stop there.
No, I didn't stop there. I actually stopped because I had another opportunity coming towards me.
Yeah.
And that was, when you get to high school, there's a lot of, every Friday there's like high school party. It could be here, there, whatever. It could be at home or at a club. And I saw it coming. I saw the entire kids are like, what's going to happen next Friday? Where are we going next Friday? Yeah. And I understood that Friday is about going out, parties, and
you heard from your bigger brother, right?
Yeah. I had
you heard
some
about
influence.
like these legendary great parties.
Yeah, I had this influence from my bigger brother, and then me and my best friend Ronzo, which is a wow entrepreneur, is the chief product of Healthy.io, and he established the company. And together we saw it coming, and we said, okay, let's start a business around that. And we didn't have the experience of producing parties from scratch.
This is what, 14 we're talking?
This is like almost 15.
Almost 15?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're already using the word business. This is not having great parties and collecting for pocket money. This is actual business thinking.
Yeah. That cab taxi kind of experience really accelerated the kid in me to start and act like a grown-up businessman. Yeah, we can do business here. Yeah, I earned this. We had this much of profit, and we started to act.
Fascinating.
And talk like businessmen in business dimensions. Yeah, we were still kid.
From what you understood, who was mentoring you? Were you sort of gathering or being inspired by? Was there like I don't know.
It was really
Steve Jobs. Did you have someone?
Steve Jobs was always like this great figure. But really back in that days, it was very intuitive. It was no mentor around, no business figure, right?
Is your mom telling you how to manage things, how to do things?
No,
it's just you.
No. Wow. It really came from the inside. And I remember my best friend Ronzo was like, yeah, let's do it. And we were contacting someone that is producing parties for our ages, and we said, listen, we can bring this in. We can bring our entire high school, to this party, and we can bring. By the way, we have some more connection in the city nearby, and we can help you over there. He was like, "Who are you guys?
Yeah, where'd you come from?
Where did you come from?
Where were you till now?"
And he came and met with us. And I remember he came with his nice car, like a red car, it wasn't convertible, but he had a sunroof, and
he had like that.
Yeah, he had that look of emphasis. He was this figure.
Yeah.
And I have to say, his name is Schuster, and I remember he became. We adopt him as a figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we met him, that's it. We said we want this kind of car, we want a sunroof, we want to have this guy's possibilities and options in life. Yeah. He looked like on a good course or on the right path to success.
He seemed to look like he knows what he was doing.
Like this guy is on the path to success. Yeah.
Okay, and you were already actively seeking this path.
Yeah, exactly.
Take us on the ride. Okay.
So Schuster.
You start to make money. Right?
Yeah, this guy let us, promote his parties. At first we had only our high school, and we brought everyone. Buses.
Unbelievable.
Buses were full of people coming to the Friday party, and he was like kind of amazed. Where did you come from? And like a month later, we're like, listen, we want another region. We want the entire region. It's not just our high school. So we want like the city nearby and this city nearby.
Wow.
And we're gonna have some more, promoters from that high school and that high school that will work for us, and we'll pay them. Don't worry, we'll take care of everything. And we took some more areas in the region.
Unbelievable.
And we were like bringing like 3 to 4 buses, to a party. He needed to take like bigger spaces and bigger places.
But what were
for the
you
party.
doing? I mean, if you look back,
This is where
what are you doing? You're talking. You're basically being charismatic and.
I have to say that it was more to that, because I think that these, being charismatic, being a leader was something we knew we were. This is why we took the chance.
Right.
Okay, we knew that we can direct and create an arrow. All right, everyone, we're going
come
there.
This way. Come
yeah,
this
yeah,
way.
yeah. So we knew we had that influence and power, but to me, making it was becoming a lot more involved. So this is, I think, where the first flirt with design really started, with graphic design. I always wanted to create like a better, more designed, more creative flyers,
Yeah, you already looking at it and was like, oh, I could do better.
Yeah, yeah. And I told Schuster and said, all right, come get more involved, man, and I did it. And over there, like, scouting for the right promoters at different high schools and really like, closing the deal. You'll bring this amount of people, we'll pay you this.
Unbelievable.
And everything, and we'll give you services. You need a bus, you need a half a bus, you need a mini bus. And we created an operation. We started an operation.
You created a culture.
We created a culture. I think if you talk to the guys that were around us at our age, at our high school or in region, they were going out for parties. They were enjoying life on our direction.
Yeah.
All right. So it was at the beginning. It was let's influence on the design and the flyers.
Right.
And second gear was we want that DJ, and we want that kind of I don't know,
that vibe. That
we want
look.
that vibe, that look. We want these dancers. We want. You
started for the first time to take the vision that you had in your head and
produce it,
manifest it.
Exactly, making it happen.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and there's a lot, because a lot of the people that were actually working for us back in the days, took it even further. Some of them are still in that business today, the nightlife and the bars and the pubs and the clubs. And I have to say, the partner and owner of Live Nation, which is like, the company that presents the entire, I'm not saying the entire, but the biggest percentages of music artists in the world. So this guy that owns Live Nation or represents Live Nation in Israel. This guy worked for us, okay? This guy was one of the kids that were, learning how to promote and create and produce parties through us. And I remember that he was amazing, and we let him do more and more, and we gave him more free hand to do a lot of stuff. And today, this guy is, he owns the the Live Nation Israel partnership, which is awesome.
But you didn't stop there. I mean,
we didn't. We always
just kept going.
We kept going, and I have to say the parties were going through the army period in Israel. We have to,
so you did that, what, let's say from like around 15 till 21?
Up to 21.
And then, and we're going to talk about it in a second because he still does great parties, just different parties today. But if we chronologically continue, so you're at about 21-ish. This is before you go to the U.S., right? Because I'm trying to keep like this timeline because I don't want to miss anything.
This is before we go to the U.S. This is...
Right? You have that chapter that you told me about briefly, right? With the computers.
We're getting there.
Give it to me.
We're getting there. I just remembered another thing. I remember we went abroad before the army, and we were first time exposed to Red Bull. Okay, the drink.
Yeah.
And, back in Greece, Ireland, bars and pubs and
like
clubs.
Red Bull vodka?
Yeah, so everywhere was Red Bull vodka. But this was like the first year of the Red Bull launched, know? And we came back to Israel and there was no Red Bull. So we were the first.
You thought about bringing it?
we couldn't bring it. We didn't have, the amount of money. We didn't
Right.
have the a clear mind to actually go. We actually went into the army. But just like I'm telling, weeks before we were recruited to the army and started our the army period of life, we were the first one contacting Red Bull in Austria and ordering boxes of Red Bull to our parties. And we were serving Red Bulls before Red Bull had an importer or actually exported Red Bull to Israel. And we in our parties, Red Bull was already been drinking it. So I just remember that. But yeah, we're going into the army, and through the army, the parties were packed. We were the best parties for soldiers in the period of us being in the army.
You learned marketing in this time? Like, you were marketing already, right?
Yeah,
you were talking
promoting
to
parties
people
is marketing.
But was it primarily offline marketing, or were you already on the digital space at this time?
No, this was non-digital.
Okay, so we're still talking about
back then.
Just talking, hey friend, bring this and this, and you're hustling. And
we did have an omni-channel kind of approach where the internet was like, starting to boom. And there was some website that sent like cameraman into parties and took images of the party, and then it was published online. So we had a cooperation like that back in the day, so you could see yourself, images of the party after the party in an online website that actually did it. But the promotion was not going through.
It was word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Paper flyers, old-fashioned.
Posters, things like
Love
that.
it.
Exactly.
All right. So you kind of established this whole party thing. Is there like a cut where you stop doing parties and you start doing tech, computers / all of that? Or does it sort of like meld in together and you're doing both and both? Like, how does it go?
When we were doing parties in the army period, we added another partner. His name is Leon Licht. And Leon was kind of my reflection in the north, in the part of a bit north than the center. So around there, it's it's a city here, and we brought him in, and it was great. He added a lot of new people into our parties and culture.
Yeah, and
we became really good friends. And after the army, we were sitting down and started to think, what's next for us? We don't want to, have that, party business all the time. We don't want to be these kind of people, when we grow up. We don't want to be a nightlife people and things like that.
We wanted to evolve.
Yeah, we wanted to evolve and looking for our next step. And
what else can we make great?
Exactly. And I grew up as a computer boy. Right beside me was always a computer. I was building.
Were you a computer geek, or did you also maintain like that?
I wasn't a geek. I was a cool.
That's what I wanted. I was looking for the word.
No.
You were like the cool dude, but also the smart computer whiz.
That cool boy with a lot of computer wisdom and know-how. Yeah. Okay. So I would be that cool boy that is building computers to all his friends and family. Okay. Everybody back in the days, you were not just buying a laptop. You needed like a desktop computer, and most of them you could build and customize and personalize. So I would build computers for my friend.
By need, they would just say, "Hey, build us this, this, and this, and this."
And I would ask, "What do you need it for? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do this?" Because if you need it for video, you need more memory and the best processor in the market and things like that.
Were you doing this from home? At the beginning?
Yeah, totally.
So you started off just like Steve Jobs. You guys have a very similar background.
And I remember Leon just came to me and said, "Listen, Ron, I need a new computer. Can you build me a computer?" And I say, "Yeah, what do we need it for?" This time, I'm more, I want to do some music and create, and, getting involved in sound, audio production and things like that. So, okay, I built a computer exactly for that mission. And Leon said, "Listen, we need to establish a computer store. We need to."
You're good, man.
This is like
we need to monetize you.
This is like excellent. And I I didn't earn money out of it. So I got some good prices as well. I was looking for the right pieces in the right places to bring, you know, a value for the money.
Right.
And
But you were getting better. You were growing. You were evolving. You were learning. This was your learning period.
Exactly. And we did it. And we opened the store in the center of Tel Aviv, in like Dizengoff Street, and
Very chic.
Very chic. The store was downstairs in our home. The apartment we rented was above it. And
you got yourself a live work.
Exactly. and I think that within a year, most of the students, I mean, and I have to say, like, you know, we had some connection through the parties and everything like that. Our generation just becomes now a student after the army, so we had a lot of connection.
So you had community. You basically
we
built
had a community, and we could PR and market around our channels and peers, and all of a sudden, I mean, like the coolest people, the coolest students in Tel Aviv are buying computers at GMAX. That was the name of the store. Amazing. And we had a great computer lab, and all of a sudden, like, serious people are coming to us, you know, like producers and video editors.
You became a brand.
Everybody
was starting to talk about
it. It was broiling. It was not a brand yet, but people were coming to get that computer from these guys, from that corner computer store.
Yeah.
And after a year, it was going very well. After a year, we wanted to develop into the B2B area.
Because you wanted to expand business-wise, or did you feel that you've kind of, like, the B2C, just you doing it for the client was kind of maxed out? You had enough of it.
I think
was it a business decision where you wanted to strategically expand and stuff, or it just was like,
we were young fellows trying to make more money.
Okay.
Trying to create a scalable deals, all right, that will take us higher in the business position and the profit and the revenue and things like that.
And you're managing the money, like you're managing the
my
budget.
Partner Leon was kind of our chief financial officer.
Okay.
And we tried to understand how we can do it, and we had some approaches from companies, from schools, things like that. You know, for deals for like 30 computers and 100 computers, right. And we were never there before, so we took a look, you know, at that kind of deals, and we understood that for that kind of deals, if we want to create like the best margin and profit on any deal, we have to buy a lot of stock. Okay.
So you were stacking
inventory
parts.
Yeah, we have to buy a lot, get lower prices for the parts, and then sell it, you know, when we have a higher margin.
So you were investing a lot of money now into having all of these pieces, parts, computers, and everything. So you already leveraged into the business.
Yeah. And I have to say that even back then, I hope Leon will listen and he remembers that, I brought an investor from the U.S.
Wow, you were already bringing in money.
Yeah, I was, you know, a friend of my mom's, and she like her brother, and she always knew I was this kind of, you know, entrepreneur, and I told my mom, and she told her, and said, yeah, my brother, he maybe, you know, he's investing in things, and
the aunt from America.
He invested like $50K back then.
Wow, that's nice.
Back then, but he had and he sent his boy here to get involved in our company as well. So we got him a position.
So it's not just you and him. Now there's this third guy coming.
Yeah.
And he represents the money.
Yeah. He represents the money, but he was a programmer, a coder. He helped us, you know, build the entire website and did a lot.
So now you're three.
He helped us to accelerate, you know, a lot of things. Because we were aiming for e-commerce, you know, for a website. It was e-commerce, one of the first, you know, back then.
Yeah.
For computers. And he really helped us. But what happened is that the deal with the investor, that he brought $50K and we needed to bring, he was a quarter, not a half of what we intended to invest in in the company to go
To take
into
it
a
to the next
B2B
step.
into B2B activities.
Okay.
And we needed to bring a lot of money from our end, and we took some loans.
This is where the story starts to get
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, we had great deals coming up. One deal was around 40 computers, another deal was around 70 computers, and it looked cleared.
Yeah.
But then some things happened in Israel, and Israel really quick accelerated into recession.
What year are we talking about?
2012? No, 1 or 2. 2000.
Ah, okay, like right around the
Yeah.
financial towers.
It started from security and terror here in Israel. The peace.
The peace.
The peace was not coming anymore.
The peace is still not coming.
The peace back in the days, we had some vision, but then it was clear that everything is falling apart, and Israel went into a recession, and an economic recession, and
it hits hard.
All the deals were canceled. Everything was, even our B2C kind of went lower than expected. And all of a sudden, we were in this vortex, and
where money is still going out, but money's
not
coming in.
We had so many. We spent it all for inventory because we wanted a higher margin for each deal, and that's it. We understood. So it's bankruptcy or closing it a certain way. I have to say that my friend comes from a wealthy family. We had a debt around 500,000 shekels.
Wow. That's a lot of money for
in the bank.
That age, yeah.
His family was able to
bail him out. And I didn't want to ask even. I didn't want to, drag my family into, I don't know, financial disaster. Did you tell your mom? Like, is there this morning
mom,
like, Mom, listen?
Yeah.
It's gone bad.
It's gone bad. It's gone real bad, Mom.
What does she say to you? That I want to interject Mom at every place in your life, because it's so important, the voice we hear from our parents. Doesn't matter if it's mom, dad, or even just a grandma.
I remember her face. I saw she was getting afraid, that she'll need to bail me, or that.
Or just in general, like, what's going to be with you.
Yeah,
like,
what's going to be with me at that stage. And she was afraid, but I saw in her eyes, I remember that, and thanks, Mom. I remember that she looked at me and she trusted me. She trusted I'll do the right thing and I'll fix it. I remember. I truly remember. And it was speechless. It was not with words. It was just looking at me.
Yeah.
And I didn't just
you felt it.
Yeah. I didn't just came in and said, there's a disaster. I said there's a disaster and I'm going to do something about it.
Right.
So she trusted me, and she knew she need to let go and let me do what I need to do. And my way to actually clear that debt and bring 250,000 shekels back.
That's a big number. I mean, that's not like
back then. It's like a million. It's like a million today.
That's not like 50,000 shekels. I took it.
No.
I took a loan out and I got to give it back eventually.
No.
This is big money.
Back then, young person, and with inflation today, it's more than a million, I think. But back then, it was wow.
Was there a moment that you were really afraid, or was it just looking at it as like just like an equation that needs to be fixed out? Like, how do you approach this whole thing? Because now we're going into the chapter of how everything turns around for you. But before then, do you have self-doubt? Are there moments where you're like, shit, what am I going to do?
Yeah. First of all, I think, I could say that it's too early, at that age. But I think I had a panic attack at a certain point. It was mostly because I understood that someone's gonna bail out Leon, and
and you're on your own,
and I'm gonna wrestle this. I'm gonna have to go on the ring and wrestle with this, and I didn't know how. But I truly believed in myself, that I'm capable of doing it. And I had this connection with a friend that was in the U.S. and selling cosmetics in malls and things like that.
Yeah.
And I knew it's good money and fast money. And I told them, listen, I'm going to come for like 2 months here
in the Christmas time.
In the Christmas time, I'll help you. And I was a good salesman. I trusted myself.
Yeah, we know that from the parties, from the parties chapter.
And he flew me up there.
So you didn't even have money to
paid
pay
for the
your
ticket. No, I
nothing.
just had like $200 in my pocket.
Amazing.
I got into the U.S. and I had everything cleared with visa, though. Unlike a lot of immigrants, I was capable of scoring all the documents to have like a student visa.
Nice.
And
so you were there legally.
And the option to work and I was legal. I was legal for I was legally doing it there, but after 2 months in the Christmas season, the holidays, with my friend, I told him, I need to accelerate and get.
This needs to be taken to the next step.
Get to scale very soon. And, my mom was getting some letters through the mailbox and,
Yeah, it's like, okay, this needs to be jammed up a bit.
and from white envelopes, they're getting into red envelopes and things like that. And she calls me and she gets me, updated. At a certain stage, I tell her, listen, Mom, it's not your fault. Yeah. You're just the address. They can't do anything. So just let me be. I don't need these updates. They're just taking my spirit and energy down. Yeah. Don't update me around
I got this.
And I'm working on it. Okay.
And at this point, you're making already money at least to live. You're starting to accumulate some money on the side, which will eventually close the debt that you've acquired. But you, again, like this entrepreneurial spirit, right? It creeps back and there's like, oh, I can do better. I can do this better. I can do this whole operation better.
Yeah. I find an American partner real quick.
Do you look for one or do you attract one? Are you actively doing all of this? Or are you just on the vibe?
I'm active about it. And by being active about it, I'm attracting this guy. And I think that's where I feel, the mystical side of our world as well. This is where you're really getting into that frequency.
Right, and not chasing,
but you're connecting into that frequency and a lot of things coming towards your way. So this guy was working with me at my friend's, place where we did and when I finished, he asked me, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to build this kind of business for me. And he said, I'm coming with you. I said, I need someone like you. And we go ahead and we do it. And we travel to the Midwest around Chicago, Illinois, and northern part of Wisconsin.
You were in New York until that
moment?
No,
until that moment I was in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And
so you head up to Chicago area.
So we head up to Chicago. We get there and I started to look for malls. But when I got to Chicago, I remember a trick that I did, and I did everywhere I went because this cosmetic business was about approaching people, stop them, and giving demonstration. Right. And if you go to New York and you just ask what time is it or how to get from here to there, no one will even stop and talk to you. People are on their rush.
Oh yeah.
And they're on a mission, they're a rush, and I remember going into Michigan Avenue on Chicago. It's like the Fifth Avenue of New York, and it's packed people. But I stand up in the street, and I start to stop people.
What can you display it on me? Like I pass by. What do you say to me?
Excuse me, ma'am. Yes. Do you know where is that street or that street?
Of course, it's over there.
Yeah. So that's what happened. The people were not just stopping; they were elaborating about how to get there, and some of them were suggesting, what, let me show you, or maybe I can take you, to the next stop, and then you take the the tube or the metro, whatever. And I understood that they behave, the culture over there, the Midwesterns, the real Americans, they're really delight, they're really trying to help. They're really warm, they're really, So I understood this is a great environment for the business.
So that was your test.
That was my test.
Okay.
And then I started to look for a mall around the Chicago metropolitan, and we found a great mall. We started over there.
You just
And
come to the owner of the mall, and you're like, hey, we want to put a little shop here and do some nails.
Yeah. And he said, you know what?
You pay a dividend on the sales?
No, it was just coming available. No, you pay a rent for it, and you pay some percentage out of the sales. And we had this first touchdown. At the beginning, we worked. Then we recruited employees. They started to work and look for the next station, for the next stop. Yeah. And then I had another one in Chicago. And then I went up north to Wisconsin, to Milwaukee. And then in Milwaukee, it kind of boomed because there was a level between Chicago and Milwaukee where I branded the entire business. Yeah. And not a lot of people in that business environment are thinking about a brand or investing money, in the brand identity and things like that. And I did it all the way, and designed it as well.
So you finally sort of connected the dots, like all the things that you learned along the ways. Yeah. They finally come to fruition, and this is like your first full-blown business as an entrepreneur.
True. I have to say that the computer store was really already involving everything. Mm-hmm. But this is like, America.
This is more advanced. This is
more
global.
advanced. This is me talking to mall managers and things like that. Right. And sometimes to the property group managers. So you already have
people, you got employees working. I mean, this is already full-blown business. Yeah. So you cover the expenses, or not the expenses, rather, that you start covering up the debt. How long
within
are you
1 year, I came back to Israel and paid the entire debt to the bank and other businesses that we owed money to.
You clear your name.
I clear my name. I never bankrupt.
That's beautiful, because a lot of people would leave their debt and do the whole bankruptcy and not pay off the lenders or whatever. You don't do that. You clear your name. I think it's because you have this understanding that a name of a man or a woman walks before them, true. And you wanted to continue your journey like this. You have not stopped. What you did in the U.S. was clearly another stepping stone to your businesses, because you've built many businesses. You've got Nafka, UX started afterwards, Mina, my host, ThinkUp, and we still have to talk about what's next. Like we have this whole new chapter that you're embarking on. That
it might be on a new chapter.
We might have to do it separately, but there is another. There definitely is more coming.
Yeah, let's accelerate the story. I come back to Israel. I pay the debt. People were blown away. They did not believe I would come back and pay, really. Yeah. And it was, I felt very good about it. And it gave me a lot of energy to go back to the US and have another year. Wow. Because I didn't look at the business as a business that I would do for the rest of my life. I'm doing it because of
the means to an end.
Exactly. Yeah. The certain need. And I went back to make more money, and created like a financial cushion or a pillow to myself. And then I even went to travel Asia and the Far East, around India.
So you don't give up that phase of like the after.
No, I had to. That was me almost 24, and I needed some spirituality. I needed some travel. I needed to clear my mind and understand what I want to do in my next chapter. Right. And that chapter helped me to realize I wanna learn design. I want to be a designer. I understood that what helps me express myself through businesses is my design abilities and my design passion.
Because you have like this perfectionist, sort of like your ability to see everything sort of in the clear place. Everything's neat and fixed in your head.
Yeah, as well as to visualize my life. I mean, I want to do something. Okay, what do? All right, let's create its logo. I wanna. This is how I take imagination,
bring it
down into the world and in real life. Other people will write a document, Right. I need to see the logo, and say that this logo is going to create an impact on this world,
Right.
through
So
this
it has to do
visual.
with feeling. I mean, do you also think when you design, do you also try to evoke an emotion? Do you think in the,
Sure.
in the perspectives of emotions and
Sure.
what they evoke in people?
Sure, always.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I started to learn design. I go into Shinkar, which is one of the best schools in Israel for design. But then a year later, I quit because I'm a computer boy. I want more digital, more interactive, more code, more games, more digital. And back then in Shinkar was not yet established. That department, and the first department in Israel was established in the Kinneret Academic College.
Okay.
And I went up north with my girlfriend. She became my wife later on, Adal.
Wow.
And she learned the nature path degree, and I went for the interactive multimedia design degree. And I was every year coming at the end of the year with an excellency. Finishing.
You have a drive for perfection and excellence. This is across the board all the time.
I'm burning everything like in a good way. I'm on fire. I'm excellent, and I love what I do, and I stay up late at night for every pixel, for every motion, for everything that will be perfect. There's no perfect, but everything will be the best I can take it to. Okay.
And you mentioned Hadar, and so there's actually two main ladies in your life. So there's Hadar, your family wife, and then you have Hila Lizarovich, which is your business wife. And I think it's fascinating because there's perfect harmony in the whole dynamics. And so these two ladies help you. I think you've mentioned to me that, at least in the perspective of the business world, that Hila brings depth into your business, into your doing and everything. And so you embark on this path, and I'm sort of leading you now into, that at some point the two of you interject, your karma somehow meets, and you begin to do businesses together. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so what is the importance, in your opinion, of the connection that you made with Hila in perspective? Because you've done business amazingly till now, right, with men. I'm really dying to get like this commentary from you about the connection, also working in such close conjunction with a long-term business partner, and how has that made you better and create better businesses?
So just when I finished school, I had two great projects coming in, and I worked on the projects as a freelancer. They were both high-tech companies. One is a small company named Microsoft, and the second was Afimilk, which is a company that is actually developing robotic milk stations in the world. And I started to work on that, and the work was great. Projects were doing good, and then I got more projects from them, and then more customers were coming in, and all of a sudden it's not just me, a designer. I actually founded a company. The name of the studio was Nafka. It's from the Aramic, the ancient Aramic language, which says what Nafka is like producing. Or they say in Aramaic, "My nafkamina," so what comes out of it, what's in it for me, or what are you producing out of it, or something like that.
And you chose that as the name.
And I chose that, but we wrote it in English, so it was nafka in English, but it's Aramaic, so it created like something interesting for people. So everybody approaches always asks, like, can I ask something? Yeah, what is nafka? And it gets a story.
And then you get a chance to bring in the spirit.
Exactly. In the middle of that journey started in 2010. In the middle of the journey, in 2015, I met Hila Lizarovich, and I truly, for the first time, I meet someone that has this depth, and I never met someone like that.
Yeah.
And I always thought, that I have everything, that I know everything, that I'm capable of everything with the crew, with my staff. But then you meet someone with that kind of depth, and you understand that
there's more.
There's
That you could be
more
complemented
layers and more depth, and things could go, even to a higher place with that collaboration. And then we work for like a year, and then a year later I propose a partnership, and she takes it. She acquired like 20% of Nafka and became a partner. And since then, this fellowship is
You've
very,
gone through what, 4 ventures together now?
yeah. So
And
Nafka is still,
still running.
Mm-hmm. And during that we had this idea of creating, before Wix was even there, we said, all right, let's create website templates, designed website templates for people on open source code. And we created many templates and designed many templates, and each template was this is good for a barber shop, and this is good for a small business, and this is good, they all had like a persona dedicated websites, and it was going very well with SMBs in Israel. And we sold it. This was our first, I wouldn't say like, big exit, but this was a first
small exit.
Something we create and someone wants to acquire.
Right.
Okay, you create something and someone wants it, not just buy a template. He wants to buy this business.
Right. So you get this confirmation that you've built something that is of meaning, of value.
Yeah.
It's not just interesting to you, and it's not just interesting for some time, but it has like this continuancy.
Yeah.
And it can be transferred to somebody else, and they can also make money from it.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
So it was acquired with the brand, with everything.
Yeah.
By the way, we called it Mina from the Aramic word, so my Nafka Mina. So we called this Mina, it was Mina Design and Templates. And it was acquired. And to make the entire trilogy over there, so I'll say that during the time we opened Nafka, we created a lot of websites. We built a lot of websites for companies and clients, not just coming to us creating a brand and a product. Created websites. Most websites needs to be hosted on a server, and I created in the beginning of Nafka, I called it my host. Again, part of the trilogy is my Nafka Mina. So the my host, the my part of it.
So interesting. You've put so much thought into the names and the meaning.
So the my host, we like every website that we built was going and getting services yearly. Yeah, it's like a subscription. Yearly hosting server for their website. And then all of a sudden, we understood the dedication we can create around an open source website that needs more patches of security and things like that on the hosting. So it was hosting for the open source. Okay. And we had a lot of other open source websites coming to be hosted on our server as well. Nice. And it became huge. And this was acquired as well by a company, and we created an exit around that business as well. So these 2 companies were the first we actually sold and were acquired after negotiation and after approaches. And the third business we established was the hardest one, I have to say. This was more of a startup journey, a conventional, if you can say, a conventional startup journey. One day we met Tuvia Scheinfeld, which was I think the person with the best skills and know-how and wisdom around web accessibility. Okay. He came to us one day. He wanted to start something, and we helped him as services, as exploration services in Nafka. And then all of a sudden, he suggested, do you want to be partners with me in that? So it was not like, us, because at a certain stage, and we'll get there, we invested in startups. But this was someone coming to us after some time. We helped him, and he said, do you want to become partners and establish with me a company? And he said, we talked about the vision and the mission when we had an agreement around that. Yeah. And we really wanted to go in and fund and establish another company. And we did it with him. The journey was a real roller coaster, as a lot of people say in the startup industry.
Yeah.
But I have to say that, and at a certain point, I thought I saw bad ending. It was starting to be very
What,
difficult.
reminding you the bad ending with the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
computer business
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
might be
yeah.
turning sour?
Yeah. I really I got afraid, and Tuvia at a certain stage, we had this news that he had leukemia, and
Wow.
it's sustained. Yeah, it's not like something that you could not live with. But the first period
But you
is
had the
very hard.
intuition that something was wrong.
Yes, something was wrong.
Something
I
was
felt
off.
the environment, and something's off. Something
Yeah.
like the bad news are coming, and they say they come in piles.
Oh yeah, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, and there was a very tough year when I took. I still was, managing Nafka and doing everything in Nafka, the CEO of Nafka, and then at the same stage, I needed to step in and fill in for Tuvia. For that time, it was for me more about staying above water.
Yeah.
But
what happens within you? Like do you feel like again you're needed to step up and like be a man?
Yeah, exactly what happened. And then if you ask Ila, she'll tell you like I don't know how you did it. Yeah. She told me, Ron, I don't know how you do it. Like, and I don't know either. It's something that urges within it, it started inside of me. And then all of a sudden, I feel a boost of energy.
That's the leader within you.
I feel the responsibility around it. And I said, no, I'm not going to have another ending like I had back in the days.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it around.
I'm going to turn it around. And then I did some moves. And all of a sudden, we're talking to 3 other companies that want to acquire us.
Wow.
And I negotiate with all 3 of them in parallel, and I tell them, like they all know that I'm talking to 3 of them together. So
they all 3 of them know about the others.
Yeah, I didn't.
And what are you playing them? Are you telling them I'm still checking?
I got this. I have to tell you, from all your 3, this is like the most. This one is the one I want to go with because
Brilliant.
of this, But at the end of the day, it's money counts as well. So. At a certain stage, we got focused on a conversation with the best option. And when I said the best option, it wasn't the best financial option.
But it was the best option in that given situation.
They were the best potential for the future of the company.
Yeah.
Okay? They were the best potential for the future of the company. But another candidate offered more money than them to purchase the company. So we didn't go just
with the more money
because we still have equity and stocks in the company.
Right.
So we wanted,
and you also have your values are
our
invested.
name, our value. Yes. Yeah, something that we didn't want. Someone takes it and tomorrow, I don't know, hustles with it or
right.
Do bad stuff with it. So it was a combination of future potential and the money on the table, I have to say. And just not too long ago, the deal was closed, the negotiation was closed, everything was closed. We signed a contract and just got a message yesterday about the official change of the ownership. And the money was wired and everything, tfu, as we say in Israel, khamsa.
Yeah. And it's transitioned.
It's transitioned, and it's coming exactly in a point where I leave, where I leave ThinkUp and I go to the next challenge. So there's a lot of closures.
Wow.
There's a lot of closures coming in. I'm sure it's part of the karma.
I think it has to do also with where we are. And look at the calendar year. We're starting in September. It's also the end of a Shemitah year. Yeah. If you know about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
And it's also the beginning. Our Jewish New Year in September is right around the corner. So I think it's actually perfect timing. Perfect everything timing. Is sort of
perfect timing.
Closing and beginning.
Say, a lot of people, in the business world, they have to, stay rational and things like that. I truly entwine, the divine and the rational together in my life as a true believer in God, but a true believer of ourselves. and our capabilities, to take things and create things and change the world.
And not giving up. I think this is a story of, for any, not just entrepreneurs, but for any person watching this, listening to this, is a story about, for me, it's being a hero in our own life. It's not waiting for somebody else to come, for a dad, for a mom, for a boyfriend, for a girlfriend to come save us. But it's a story of, taking matters into your own hands, saving yourself. And not only, it's not just saving yourself, but being a huge success, keep building, right? You don't give up. A true entrepreneur and an ideological one never gives up. So you fall, you scrape your hand, but you get up. And you don't only get up, you get up stronger, better, and more focused, right? And so, this new chapter of your life, which we will have to come back to. Now you have another reason to come back to me. But this new chapter is, I'm just, small teaser, it is going to blow your mind because it is so much better, in my opinion. To me, it sort of connects everything that you've done so far, consumer, branding, design, user experience, making life better, making everything better. It's going to be connected to the global sphere, right? I'm not giving it away. It's just but I'm really hyped for you. And I think
Thank you. I feel you.
It's like this build up, right? Because every entrepreneur knows this. It's, we're always getting ready to get ready. We're getting ready to get ready. We're always getting better. We're always learning. We never give up. And we have this innate feeling within us that we're meant for more, right? Do you have that voice inside of you that's always told you you're meant for more, you're meant for greatness?
Yeah. There was always a voice in me, and I have to say my mom nourished it a lot during, the early days of my life.
But how did you know? All moms tell their kids they love them, they're great. But how did you know that you were meant for greatness? Because only that itself as a motivation has really brought you so far. It's talent and luck is not enough.
Yes, I think that life, the early days of life and the experience I got as a leadership. Kids, come with me. I can make you more money, and we'll clean taxis. And you know what? High school. Listen, we're going there on Friday. We're all going together. Right. And they're all coming. So you understand that you have this certain charisma and influence around of people, and people are looking up to you, and people are advising you, and people are asking you. And I have to say, it's not always about the cool stuff. They wanted me to run for I don't know how to say it in English. The It's like the government of the high school. No?
Oh, yeah. You were asked to do that and you didn't want to?
I didn't want to. But I really felt that, the people in my life reflected my leadership.
Right.
It's not about, I wasn't a dictator, right? I kind of, I felt it's coming from the bottom. I felt that they are making me, their leader, and this characterization had a continuity in all the parts of my life.
Even here in ThinkUp.
Ron
is regarded as a true leader, and I think that what makes a true leader, and I think we'll end it with that, is a person that the people do not feel as if they're being led. They don't feel as if they're being told what to do. And a great leader also behind the scenes gives the credit to the team and doesn't take the credit to themselves. The credit that they receive is a byproduct of providing the credit to others. And those others are the one that grant you with that title of a leader, but not because you led them and not because you did what you did. It is that a leader, a true leader, can be a person that can be relied on, but is never a burden to others. And in that, you've shined in all sectors of your life so far, as we've heard. And I think that the steps that we take, the decisions that we make, and even in building a business or running a family or the partnerships that we have, it's the legacy that we leave behind us. It's the set of values of, I've always believed that us as humans are here to make life better. and I'm not so sure that all of us can stand behind that we're all making life better. But if there's anything that sort of will leave me with your story, is that I want to make life for people better. I want to make life for nature better. And
For
I think
myself
that,
as well.
I mean, for ourselves. But I carry with me this statement that if you take care of others and you make other people's lives better, everything will be taken care of for yourself.
Everything. I truly believe in that. And I totally agree with you. Today, my mission is to find the best people I can find. By the way, the better definition, better than me people.
Exactly.
Better than me people, and give them the biggest or the widest autonomy. Okay? I can give them for them to flourish and help me create my vision. And hopefully this next chapter and next venture, first I have to say it's a US venture, and my partners are I have to say they're very diverse in any meaning. So
and very big. They're big partners.
I have to say that I don't know if it's politically correct, but two of them are homosexuals, and one of them is from London, and the other two are from the US. Wow. One from the West Coast and one from the East Coast. You're
the only Israeli? I mean, you and your team.
I'm the only native Israeli. One of them is ex-Israeli. He's not been living here for 10 years. He's an American. So yes, and I'm so lucky to have Hila, choosing to come with me on this.
It's a very romantic story, by the way. We didn't have time to get into.
I truly feel
romantic.
lucky that Hila, chose to come with me in this next chapter and leave ThinkUp as well. And I'm so grateful to my wife that's letting me be.
Yeah, she's letting you pivot.
And she's letting me be.
Standing behind you.
She see the transformation in me. She understands. She see it from behind. She's letting it be, with all the difficulties that it can bring, into the table.
Of course.
She's the bravest, I think, in this.
You've been lucky. You've been blessed by by wonderful women in your life.
I truly am.
Amazing.
And yeah. We're going there, and I think that, as you said before, I'll have it as a closure. I think that everything happened to me in my life is to get ready for this chapter, and doing better this and better that. This time is almost better everything in every aspect. So it's the venture.
It's the venture
of my life. Yeah.
We can't wait. I promise that somehow, even if it's over Zoom, we will get a final completion, final chapter to be. And I am so grateful that we've managed to do this. This is literally right before I'm also going out for vacation from the podcast. So I'm very, very grateful that we've managed to do this. And I wish you so much luck. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to meet again. And I'm sure that next time it's going to be even more fascinating, because we're going to have all the context, all the juicy stuff of what you're doing, which, by the way, those exclusive parties that he does today are called Juice, right?
That's true.
So, yeah, check him out. I will put all of Ron's details. Thank you for coming and joining me. It was a great pleasure. And I'm pretty sure that in a couple of years, when I'm going to look back at the interview, it will be just as gratifying as if I would have had the luxury to interview Steve Jobs at the time. So in a couple years, we're going to look back. Thank you for being with us, and tune in for more. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.